AI Adventures Audiobooks presents Sylfana Greenvale, Episode 1. Sylfana has been summoned into existence by a divine entity, and so have you. A voice in your head commands you to venture forth and vanquish the mysterious evil that is draining the vital energy of this unknown world. You both are clean slates with infinite potential, and your journey will be whatever you make of it. Sylfana is a fierce warrior, cunning, sassy, and pragmatic, but she's also just, courageous, and dependable. She will have your back during the adventure.
Sylfana and yourself are both taking your first breath as you open your eyes for the first time onto this new world. You have been summoned into existence by a divine entity. A voice in both your heads commands you to venture forth into the unknown. Find the source of the evil that is draining this world of its vital energy. You are both standing in a circle of ancient stones covered in moss in a pine forest. Sylfana looks at you, takes a deep breath and says, "Let's go."
Roheim Blackridge is my name, and Sylfana knows it. We have both been summoned into existence to rid this world of a great evil that is draining its vital energy. Yet we know nothing of this world, nor what plagues it. We need to move on and find signs of civilization, ideally a town or a city, to gather information. There is an overgrown trail leading out of the stone circle into the forest. I nod to Sylfana and say, "Let's follow that trail and see where it leads." Sylfana nods back at you.
Good idea.
We follow the forest trail for some time before encountering the remains of a small house. It looks like it burned down long ago. There are debris scattered about. "Sylfana, do you want to take a closer look at this debris?" I say to her.
Yes, come look.
She gestures for you to come, then points at the debris.
This house burnt down long ago. It is clearly abandoned.
At least this is a sign of human activity. Let's keep walking down that trail. I would like to find shelter before nightfall if possible, I say as I start going back to the trail. On my way, I notice something in the debris. Covered in a greasy crust of soot and dirt, 7 gold coins were hiding in plain sight. Well, gold is going to make everything easier. Hopefully that will at least cover the fee for the inn, should we manage to reach one in time tonight. Perhaps even a meal, I say. She pockets the gold coins and smiles.
Yes, this may very well be our best chance at getting a roof over our heads for tonight.
Let's keep journeying onward. Who knows what else we may stumble upon, I say to her as I get back to the trail. We have been summoned with basic weapons and armor, but we may want to improve our gear if we are to face hostility. I look at her while we walk down the trail towards the unknown. Sylfana nods in agreement.
Yes, our weapons and armors are nothing fancy, but they will do for now.
We journey onward on the forest trail. After a moment, I notice something resembling a stone statue beyond the valley, in the distance. I can't really make it out from here. I point at it and ask, "What do you make of it? It looks like a statue to me. Should we venture across the valley to check it out?" Sylfana looks at you, her eyes sparkling with curiosity.
We should definitely go check it out. I wonder what kind of creature this is.
I look at her, confused. "What do you mean by creature?" I ask her.
I don't know. A statue usually depicts a creature, doesn't it?
I look at the distant statue again and shrugs. "I guess you're right," I say. "All right then, let's go find out. Let's just be careful through the wilderness. We still know nothing about this world." Sylfana nods in agreement and follows you towards the mysterious statue. After some going down the valley, we reach a shallow river. Its blue water sparkles peacefully in the sunlight. I noticed the remains of an abandoned campfire on the opposite bank of the river. Should we cross and take a closer look at this abandoned campfire? Or should we keep going for the statue, I ask. She looks at you.
We should check out the abandoned campfire. It may contain clues about who was here before us and where they were headed. What do you think?
I think you're right. We need any clues we can get at this point. We may even find forgotten items, who knows. That would be a treat. I say. I turn towards the river and ask, ready to wet your feet? She chuckles.
Of course I am. Come on.
She steps into the shallow waters of the river and looks back at you to ensure you follow her. I look at her, smiling broadly. All right, here I come. Goodbye, dry boots. I say as I follow her across the river. Stones are slippery under my feet. Be careful, the stones are slippery, I say aloud. She reaches out for your hand and takes it, helping you cross.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
She smiles, then looks down to see if her boots are wet.
Oh well, not much we can do about that now.
Thank you for that, I say as I make it out of the river. We both stand with our boots soaked, looking at each other, then chuckle. Abandoned campfire, here we are, I say. Sylfana chuckles.
Indeed, and I hope there will be something left of it.
She walks towards the campfire and looks around. I start looking around at the remains of the campfire too. Anything interesting? I ask. Sylfana nods.
Most of the campfire is burnt to a crisp, but there are a few charred logs still intact.
I nod and look around. A glint catches my eyes near the river. I move towards it and find a health potion half buried in the sand. I found an unopened health potion. Whoever built this camp must have left in a hurry, or probably drunk. The potion may come in handy if we're hurt. I add the health potion to my inventory. Sylfana walks towards you, interested.
That's quite the find.
Well, that's no magic sword, but that's still something, I said with a positive smile. We'll be happy to have it handy if we're in trouble. And this gives us a clue regarding this world. There are health potions, which means we may get more if we find a town or city, I say. She nods.
Yes, that's true. And now that we know what to look for, finding a city or town shouldn't be too difficult.
Remember, we almost know nothing of this world. We don't know how it works. But you're right. If we can reach a city or town, or even simply meet someone, we would get a clearer picture. Finding out more about the mysterious evil that plagues this world is our first priority, I say to her. She nods again.
Well then, let's go!
We're going to resume walking towards the statue we saw from the trail, I say as I cross the river back and resume journeying through the valley towards the statue. Sylfana follows you across the river and into the forest. After a while, we stumble upon the ruins of a small chapel, its broken steeple lying in the grass nearby. The roof has partially collapsed and sunlight now makes its way into the old chapel. Ivy seems to hold the remains in place. What do we have here? I say as I stop and look at the ruins. Sylfana stops next to you, looking at the ruins with curiosity.
This place is in ruins. It must have been abandoned for a long time.
I take a walk around the chapel and get back to Sylfana. Everything we encountered so far has long been abandoned. I scratch my chin as I think this through. It makes sense that we have been summoned in a secluded place, a forgotten place. That would explain the ruins all around.
That makes sense. But how did this world come to be in this state?
I'm hoping that this is just a forgotten part of this world, and that we will eventually reach some form of civilization. Remember, we found an unopened health potion, and someone had to make it, perhaps an alchemist. So there's still hope that not all of this world is actually in ruins, I reply.
That's true. Let's just hope we will find a town or city before our food runs out.
You're right about that. But you're the one that decided to go check that statue, remember? I say to her with a wink and a smile. She blushes.
Oh, that's right.
She laughs, then looks back at the trail.
Well, are you ready to continue on our journey towards the statue?
I think we should check out inside this chapel first. We may find something useful. Sylfana nods.
I agree.
The door creaks open as I push. Sylfana and I enter the chapel. Despite it being open to the outside, the air is foul here. I frown upon breathing it and look at Sylfana. The air is foul in here. Sylfana covers her mouth and nose with her sleeve.
This is worse than I thought.
We explore the inside of the chapel, mainly consisting of broken benches, furnitures, and rubbles. In a corner, we find a moldy bedroll laid on the ground. Someone found shelter here. Long ago, I say, looking at the bedroll. She nods.
Yes, it seems so. What do you want to do about this bedroll?
It's too old and worn out. It would be no use for us. Let's leave it here. She nods, then looks up at the hole in the roof.
I wonder if we should try to patch this up.
Patch up the roof? It's going to be a lot of work. Why would you want to do that, Sylfana? I ask, a bit disconcerted.
I was thinking it may prevent some animals from coming inside and using this place as a den.
I open my mouth to reply when we hear a muffled knock that seems to come from below the chapel. The sound is heavy, and I can feel a faint vibration underneath my feet alongside it, as if something fell on the ground somewhere downstairs. Did you hear that? I say in a whisper. She looks at you, her eyes wide.
Yes.
It seems we're not alone here. Get yourself ready, I say as I draw my sword and observe the chapel carefully. She draws her sword and looks around, on guard.
What was that?
I don't know. It may be nothing, but let's be careful and search the place thoroughly. The sound came from below. There must be a way to get there. Sylfana nods and waits for you to lead the way.
I'm ready.
We search the chapel and find a wooden hatch half buried under a pile of rubbles. It is closed and has not been opened in a long time given the layer of dust and dirt on top of it. I'm going to open it. Are you ready? I ask, looking at her. She nods.
Yes, I'm ready.
I open the hatch and foul air rushes out of it. I wince as I peer inside the opening. It is too dark to see anything but the patch of dirt floor at the foot of the ladder leading down. But we can hear a faint, raspy moaning sound coming from the darkness. Sylfana looks down the hole.
It looks dark and ominous.
You hear that sound? There's something below, I whisper. What do you want to do?
I say we go and check it out. What do you think?
She looks at you. Let's go. I nod and start climbing down the ladder into the darkness. As I am halfway through, putrid hands emerge out of the darkness, reaching for me. A frail zombie is coming at me. I manage to react in time and kick it away enough for me to jump down the ladder and prepare to fight. Sylfana gasps, then quickly follows you down the ladder. When she lands on the dirt floor, she turns to face the zombie. Quickly, we position ourselves strategically on both sides of the frail zombie. How do you want to do this? I ask her.
We should attack together on the same spot to ensure we can take it down quickly.
Understood. Take the lead. My strike will quickly follow yours. Let's end this, I say as I get ready to follow her blow.
All right.
She says before lunging at the zombie with a powerful thrust of her blade. My strike follows Sylfana's, both piercing the rotten zombie's flesh with ease. The zombie collapses on the floor as we simultaneously remove our blades. That's teamwork for you, I say, looking at Sylfana with cheerful complicity.
That was great teamwork indeed.
Let's look around and stay on our guard, I say. She nods and starts searching the room for anything of value while keeping an eye on the entrance. The cellar of the chapel is small and rough. In the middle of it, we find a slate of stone covered in dried blood, half-burned candles laid around it. On it stands an old wooden chest. It is closed. Sylfana heads toward the chest.
What's in there?
Don't you want to open it and find out? I ask.
I do, but I was also thinking about traps.
I frown, concerned. You're right, I should not be careless. Let me take a look at it, I say. She waits for you to finish examining the chest before opening it.
It's not locked, so we should be good to go.
The chest creaks open. There are items inside of it. Looking down its content, I say, well, we did not stop for nothing. Take a look. She peers inside.
What's in there?
There is a health potion, a mana potion, a scroll of small fireball, and what seems to be a magic ring. She nods.
That's a good haul.
Indeed, and now we know that there is magic in this world. I point at the mana potion and the scroll of small fireball. She nods.
That is true.
What do you make of that zombie, though? Trapped under this ruined chapel like this? I ask her.
I can't say for sure, but it looks like it was trapped here for a long time.
That seems to indicate one thing clearly, though. There is necromancy in this world. I don't like it.
Me neither, but what can we do about it?
We can stay on our guards. She nods.
I agree.
Let's leave this cursed place and get out into the fresh air, I say as I move towards the ladder to exit the cellar and leave the chapel. Outside, I wait for Sylfana. Sylfana follows you and looks up at the sky.
It's still a beautiful day, isn't it?
I look up at the sky, feeling the fresh breeze on my face. After being ambushed by a zombie underneath an old chapel, it looks even better. Our first day in this world, and already an adventure. She smiles.
This is going to be one hell of an adventure.
I laugh at her enthusiasm. I'm glad to see you that cheerful after what happened.
What else is there to do?
What do you mean? I ask.
If you want to survive in this place, you need to stay positive and make the most of the situation.
I nod in agreement. We resume working our way through the valley towards the statue we saw from the forest trail earlier. After a while, we finally reach the statue. We finally made it. She looks up at the statue and gasps.
What is this?
The statue is old and covered in ivy. It is made of white stone and still shines in the sunlight, polished by the ages. It looks like a representation of a divinity, perhaps a place of worship. It looks like a woman with wings. I look at her and ask, what do you make of it, Sylph? She walks around the statue.
The detail is remarkable. The wings are huge.
Yes, especially for a statue that old. I lay my hand on the statue, and I feel a faint vibration under the palm of my hand. I can feel magic still resonating within the stone. I close my eyes. Sylfana's eyes widen and she looks at you.
What are you doing?
Wait. I focus on the vibration coming from the statue, the magical energy trapped into it, and a burst of energy emanates from me, blowing up dust around me. When it stops, I remove my hand from the statue and turn to Sylfana. I feel stronger now. Something happened. You try it too, Sylfana, I say, looking at her. She nods and touches the statue. Focus on the magical energy. She focuses on the magical energy coming from the statue and feels a surge of power welling up inside her.
Wow.
I lay my hand on her shoulder and look at her. How do you feel? I ask.
A little lightheaded, but otherwise good.
Good. You will be well in a short time. You absorbed some of the magical power lingering inside the statue. It made you stronger, as it did for me. Sylfana nods.
So, is that where the magic in the world comes from?
I look up at the statue and say, in this world, I can't say for sure. I could feel the magic lingering in the statue, but I don't know its source. She nods.
You're right, but at least we have a lead.
I nod. A lead and a slight boost in power to boot. We'll have to keep an eye out for more magical energy during our journey.
Agreed.
She looks at the statue, still amazed.
Do you think we should do something with this statue?
Look, the sun is about to set. I point towards the setting sun over the distant mountains. I think there is nothing more to do here. But if you want to check the statue further, feel free. Sylfana nods.
All right, let's move on.
We work our way back to the forest trail from where we saw the statue in the distance, and resume journeying onward into the unknown as the sun sets over the distant mountains. Sylfana looks back at the statue.
I wonder what could have caused so much magical energy to be trapped inside this statue.
I wonder too. As soon as we find people, we can start asking questions. That'll go much faster than scavenging for clues amongst abandoned places like we've been doing so far. She nods.
I hope we'll find some people soon.
We resume journeying onward on the forest trail. We eventually reach a clearing with a panorama of the valleys and mountains as the twilight paints the sky a dark orange. This clearing will have to do for tonight. The sun is setting and I do not think it wise to journey at night for the time being. I lay my backpack on the ground and take some time to admire the panorama. She looks at the panorama.
Beautiful.
This world seems to be in harmony with nature. It is beautiful. I turn to look at her. This is the end of our first day in this world, and we still know nearly nothing about it. She nods.
It's hard to believe how much we have accomplished today, and yet we have barely scratched the surface of this world.
I'll gather some wood for the fire. Please prepare the camp in the meantime. She nods and starts setting up camp. I come back with wood after a while. That should keep us warm for the night, I say as I start making the fire. She watches you make the fire.
You're good at making fires.
Thanks, Sylph. Tomorrow, you'll be making the fire, if we still have not found shelter. I'll show you if you need any help. I look at her and smile. She nods.
All right, I'll give it a try.
We both sit next to the fire as the night sets in. Finally, it is good to be able to rest, I say, looking at the fire.
Agreed, it's been a long day.
She stretches herself.
Are you ready for some sleep?
I look at her and say, I thought we might chat a little before turning in for the night, but we can go to sleep now if you prefer. She thinks for a moment.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
This morning we have been summoned into existence at the Circle of Stones. We know nothing of this world, except what we encountered so far, and we still don't know when we are going to reach some manner of civilization. We need to stay on our guards until we know more. She nods.
I see your point.
I turn to look into her green eyes. Light from the campfire dances on her face. How do you feel, Sylfana?
I feel tired.
I smile affectionately at her. It's been a long day. Try to rest. I'll take the first watch. I stand up and add, sleep well.
Thanks.
She nods. She lays down next to the fire and falls asleep in a matter of moments.